What's going on, everybody? My name is Peter Del Tondo, and I am your host this week for the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenges. Thanks so much for tuning in. I've been having a blast with this challenge, been doing a ton of research, live streaming, and playing video games over the last week. So, been having a lot of fun with this one, and it looks like you all have been as well. I'm actually going to start off today's stream by showcasing some of the awesome talent that we have here in the community. I've been seeing some really cool projects come out of this, and again, the way I modeled this challenge and the way I like to model work is do things that you are passionate about and care about. Brings out your best work, and I can tell some of these projects for folks has really been hitting home, and for some of you, you've been modifying this into other interests that has been something specific to you, and it's great to see your personalities come out. So let's see who we've got in chat here today. We've got Agata, Siddharth, Chris, Tim, Richard. Thank you all for coming in. And it's Halloween tomorrow, which will be super fun. My kids are dressing up as bats. It's gonna be adorable. So let's jump into a couple of things. First of all, if you are new here, make sure you head on over to behance.net/challenge/xd, and over here each day you'll be able to download the starter file as well as watch the live stream even on replay each day and check these out. So don't worry if you missed a day or two, you want to catch up, jump back into these videos and get you caught up in a beat. And then up top here, you can jump in and sign up to take the challenges as well as join the community chat. And if you've not yet done that, head on over to bit.ly/XD Discord and you can jump in there too. Let's come back over and let me share some stuff here in Discord. This is where you're going to want to live throughout this challenge. This is where the activity happens outside of these streams. And make sure you go over to the side here and feedback. Current challenge, this is where you're going to be posting that work. Make sure you post it to Behance, use the hashtag XD Daily Creative Challenge, and you can post that on Twitter as well, and we'll be checking those out for you guys. And then make sure to check out a lot of other great channels too. We had some discussions the other day that I mentioned we've talked about in pro tips, things like Repeat Grid. Melody here listed some of her favorite plugins that she uses. We've got some great stuff. If we come up a little bit more, checkboxes versus toggles, things about animations, accessibility. I know there's some stuff here on 8-pixel grid as well, as some of you were curious about that yesterday. So make sure to check those out and jump into those. So as I mentioned today, we're going to mix it up a little bit. I want to show the work first because I think there were just some stellar projects here. And so this one, we've got Streamy. I love this dark UI, super clean iconography, consistent iconography throughout all of this. And again, as we talked about, we're not using any lorem ipsum. We're using, here we've got Shroud and Ninja and, other streamers that people may know. We get to see the variety of artwork here throughout these graphics. And through this, this feels real. Like I wouldn't know that this isn't a real site out there. So this is the kind of stuff we're really looking for you guys to put together. I think this is a great example. And I love you already got into auto animate. We're not covering that specifically necessarily in this stream, but make sure you can check these out and see how these are built. I love the way these animations came together. So really nice job. Let me go back to the center. And we've got the ability to scroll through here. We've got our top streams. I love the little details. So as you guys think about this stuff, think outside the box where the avatar here is cutting in with a little bit of a border into the frame of the video. And then we've got the information here on the side. You've even got this nice little fade going on over here. So lots of great stuff. The only one item that I would recommend on this UI is, I know the brand color here is red, but it feels like red can also be warning or danger. I would maybe try to see if there's one other color that you could pull into this palette for things like your indicators or the see all, because red makes sense with things like live, but even here, there's a part of me that I see the red and I go, oh, what's wrong over here? Whereas like things like the green, the status indicator, that doesn't have that same connotation. So that's the only thing to be aware of. I don't know if there's more stuff to click into here yet, but just fantastic job on this project. You're crushing this right now. The other one I wanted to highlight here was one for BlizzCon, and I just think this is great. I know BlizzCon is coming up or happening now or something around there, but going through this project, this is one where, again, I wouldn't necessarily know that this is just a case study because this feels real. So here, what to watch next, I can clearly see things like, okay, Blizzard, I think Diablo, Hearthstone, I'm not sure, Overwatch, things like that. So we can jump in, I get to see all this content, and this is just really great. So I love that you took it from, hey, here's a live streaming site like Twitch or Mixer, to where we're going to do live events at this particular thing. I just think this is fantastic, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. A lot of my childhood was Blizzard games, so I love this project. I'm super pumped about it. All right, so let's jump into our project today, and let's come over here first to today's prompt. So we are going to be designing the video player page. So what does it look like when you're actually watching the stream or the streamers? And we're going to focus on the chat experience. We're going to add icons, symbols, and buttons along the way. And we want to start bringing those wireframes to life throughout, the project. So things that we worked on yesterday, we're going to carry over into this next page. And again, just some inspiration. I'm a really big fan of Twitch and Mixer for this stuff. We come in here, we get to see a lot of cool things, like we've got chat over here. We've got like an about section about the streamer, the game, what's happening. Do I want to follow, subscribe, check out old video clips, etc. There's even some stuff here for like follow channels, so maybe something we can collapse on the side there as well. Excuse me. And we can build some stuff that's kind of in that range. So again, do your research, do your homework on these projects, play around with what it's like to be as a streamer. Go live on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or Mixer, see what that experience is like, and that'll help you carry that over to the side as well. So I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to delete out a lot of the content that we've got because I want to start here with something like my video section. And let's pull this up a little bit bigger for me over here. And let's see. So I've got some other artwork that I'm going to throw in as well. I grab some more, some bigger screens. So one of the streamers I follow, Tim the Tatman, we're going to pull him in, and I think he saw one. He looks really happy in the shot. So we'll pull this over. We've got him. And we've got now our video box. We want this to be kind of nice and large. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to start building out some structure. So I want to have something that tells you that that's whose profile that we're on here. So I'm just going to grab some text, keep this all consistent. And I'm not going to get too picky, although my OCD really wants me to, of spacings of things like this. And we'll just do Tim the Tat Man. I think it has two T's, I'm not sure. So we've got that. And then we maybe want to pull in some icons. So I've already pre-brought some over that I thought would be cool. But again, I like to use Nucleo for these icons. I just think that helps give us a nice little consistent and easily searchable icon system. And it looks like this one's cut out in the background. So I'm actually just going to do a quick little design hack, and I'm going to throw a white circle behind this item. Come over here to my layers panel, and I'll just throw that in the back. And now we can group these two items, and boom, I've got my nice little check mark. All right, so let's pull these in. Come over here, I'm going to grab a plugin from UI Faces. We'll just grab somebody. Make sure that that's a male. Well, he looks angry. Let's grab somebody else. All right, the guy from Eddie Redmayne. That's who we got. All right, so Eddie Redmayne is over here. Fantastic. Yeah, Tim the Tatman looks super happy. And we've got our nice little rounded edge there. All right, so a couple other things that we want to do. Let's have an indicator that he is in fact live. So again, you could use an icon, or we could make a button For the moment, I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna bring this up in size a little bit. Let's try maybe 32 or maybe 40. I do want this to be something that we really know that that streamer is in fact live. And I pulled over my color from before, and same thing here. It looks like this is cut out in the background, so I'm just gonna real quick move this behind it. All right, so we've got that. He's live, and I'm gonna redo this later because as I look at it, I don't like that this type doesn't match what I'm doing everywhere else. So you know what, let's just do that really fast. Oops, that's my opacity. Let's change our height to 24. Let's give that a little rounded edge. And we will just say live. All right. And I'll mess with that more later, but for the moment, that's going to work pretty well for us. Oops. All right, cool. So we've got that. We now know that our streamer is live. He looks like a happy camper. Yeah, I get that. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty recently, and there's definitely a bit of a camping epidemic going on in that game. But it's still a ton of fun. All right, so I don't know that I'm going to use these colors necessarily, but I'm going to grab these quick colors. We talked about maybe some purples and some pinks or something over here. I think this also goes really nicely with the background that we've got there, but let's start with the blue color. And I'm just going to bring this down. We'll go with the height of, say, 40 for this. This is going to be a big action button. What I want this to be is to subscribe or to follow this particular streamer. And this is how streamers make their money. This is, how the service makes its money as well. So if we do something here, we want this to, have quite a bit of draw and purpose to it. And so we might do something like this, where we can now subscribe to that user. Let me bring this down here more. But I want that CTA to really call out, and that might be where we play with things and we say, hey, you know what? That pink is really going to be what draws somebody's attention in, and we'll pull that over. And then maybe over here, we don't need a big call out, but let's say I want to favorite that streamer. And this is where we can start to do some cool animations as well. I'm going to start with a little lined icon. And then when the user actually clicks on that, and we can prototype out what that looks like, we can have that reverse and fill in, and maybe it's that pink color as well. So we could easily do that kind of prototype and animation. And let's even give that color too. All right, so we've got this here. I think we're looking good for this part. So, we'll do stuff where when I hover over this area, it'll show like playhead indicators, play, pause, volume control. But while I'm just watching, that's not something that I'm necessarily going to see. But now over here on the side, I'm going to want to start building out my chat box. And so over here, let's grab this. We'll make this kind of a darker section so we can see on top of that. And then at the bottom of this, I'm also going to want to have a chat area. So what I might do is I'm just going to duplicate this. I'll just copy and paste, and I'll bring this down. And I want this to be a little bit of a lighter color. I might play with that, but for now, let's go something like this color here, and we'll pull that down to the bottom. Let's give both of these a little bit of a rounded edge. All right, cool. So now I want to show some indicators. So things like how many people are actually maybe in this stream. And I can do like a really thin line over here. Make this color maybe that gray that we've got. And now I'm going to pull over this small icon to show the amount of people here in the chat. And maybe we still do that light color, because we want this to be subtle. We don't need it to be really big. And here we could say that, you know, there's 900 people in chat at the moment. Spread that out. Make this a little less wide. All right, cool. So we can now see how many people we have in chat. That's all looking pretty good. Now let's start flushing this out a little bit. And yeah, designing a dark UI and the brightest UI. I get it. There's a little bit of irony there. So now let's add a couple of things, like we need some timestamp codes. So we could say, what time is it? It's 11:45. And we can keep that gray. That's not as important of an item. But then we may come over here and we want the users to be much brighter. So we might say something like this, and then we want their message. So we can make that white. I'm going to give this a fill box. And over here, you know, maybe this isn't quite as bold. We want the user to be called out, but maybe we bring this down to regular. And then we can say here, like, that was awesome. All right, and so really quickly now, I'm just going to go to repeat grid. I'm going to pull these down. This is going to give me a nice area to now quickly build out my chat area. And we'll do something like that. All right, perfect. So I'm going to ungroup this, and then I would come in here and I would actually ungroup all of these items. I want to have them be different later. I'm going to leave this just for the moment, but plug in different usernames, plug in a line that's 2 lines or 3 lines of text, and have some variable stuff in there. So I think that'll be really cool. And Munir and Jimmy, yeah, I think it'd be super cool if a dark mode got announced at Max. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't have any inside info on that. I wish I did, but it would be super cool. I am a fan of dark mode for the most part. And is anybody going to be at Max? Let us know in chat if you're going to be there. I'll be there with Evan and my buddy Mike and some other folks. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. I know Howard and the whole Adobe Live team will be there too. We'd love to see you guys and say hi and let us know what you think of all the challenges and how much fun it's been and all the awesome things that have come from Adobe being in your life. We'd love to know about it. All right, so let's keep going here. I want to build out a little section right here. I'm just going to snap this over, bring this here, and let's do post a message. Again, we can have this be one of our slightly darker colors. And I'd probably soften this a little bit. Like this color here is actually a little too bright for me. Let's maybe pull that into the blues. Something along those lines I think works a little bit better. So we've got post a message, and then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to grab this item, and we'll put that right there too. We'll give it that background color, and we're good. And actually, I want to brighten these up a tad. I don't know that I would use white, but for quick purposes here, you guys are kind of getting where that's going. All right, so I think that's kind of it on that front. So again, vary your content here. It'll make it feel more realistic and whatnot. But this is a good start to everything. As we come down the page, we want to have a couple more sections. So let's actually just grab this. All right, so we can showcase, you know, what's the game that player is playing or that person is streaming, and we want to showcase some additional things. So, you know, we want to see who's watching, how many people are tuning in. We might come down here. Let's grab this icon. We'll lighten, or let's give this a nice color. And we'll come down here, we'll add this. We might say something like, how many people are watching? 900 viewers. And we could do something like that. Let's take that down to regular. All right, so we've got this content here. Now, I also want to have some things like I want to share, or you know, with streamers too, you have to be careful. Sometimes people might say something inappropriate or do something inappropriate, and so people get reported. And so going into a feature like this, we might do something where I want to be able to share this content and I share it to social media, as well as maybe somebody needs to get a little notice. So we'll add these content items over here, nice and clean. We're gonna come down here. I'm gonna add this text. We're gonna make this a bit bigger. Let's bump this up to say like 24. This is gonna be the title of our stream. And we'll just say something like owning noobs on today's stream. All right, so we've got something there. Let's back that down from bold. I think just regular works really well. And then we can say here things like, let's bring in our smaller text actually, like that. And then we can say game. And this could be, you know, perhaps in one of our lighter fonts. And then again here, I'm gonna bring this into regular, and we could say Call of Duty Modern Warfare. All right, and then we want to add things like tags. You know, people put up different stuff based on you know, the type of content that they are doing. And so we might do, maybe we do the blue here, or we could keep it with the pink. And I like my tags usually to be totally pilled. So we'll do 100 for that corner radius. And then in here, we'll just grab this, put this on top. And we might say things like FPS, action, etc. And so we'll pull these items over. We can create a couple of tags. And oops, multi-stream. Maybe if they're streaming with other streamers at the same time, that could be a way to tag. All right, cool. So we've got that, and personally, as we look at that, again, the concern and fears of using those bigger or brighter items is that it brings in too much attention. So we might need to look and find something that is just a little bit different. Maybe we go with like this color here. I might take these from like bold to regular or something, because we don't quite need that to stand out as much. And so we want to soften that up a little bit. Again, it's all about that visual hierarchy. And so what are the things that I want people to look at? I want them to look at this, I want them to describe, and I want them in chat. I don't need to draw the same amount of attention down here. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to look at. And then lastly, and I'm going to just kind of cheat this one and pull in some stuff from the other since we're running low on time. But I'm going to come down and I want to do a section down here where I've got something that maybe we have like about, then we have, let's say, videos, which is the one that we're going to be selected on. And then we might have things here like clips, events, and followers, and then they can tab through those other sections and see more content and videos. So if I just pull these over here and kind of have that go off the page. So this is, you know, again, quickly how we can build this out, modify, put in real content, and then see what you guys can do and add some animation to this. So what does it look like when I subscribe? Is there an overlay pop-up? Is there a filled in heart when I follow this user? What does it look like transitioning to one of the past videos and cycling through these things? So have some fun with that. Encourage you guys, again, throw in some personality and interest into these. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Join us tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun modifying a couple of these screens into a unique experience and just tease you guys a little bit on that. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you stick around for the next stream here.